Yeah, very good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Lasham Daily Briefing for Wednesday, the 9th of April, 2025. We'll get straight into it with the synoptic picture. This was midday yesterday, and we can see very nice clear skies. We actually had some reasonable flying yesterday. A few guys got off with some shorter tasks, so it was really nice to see a little bit of a busier airfield after a fairly quiet period. Cycling through now, that was midnight last night. You can see very little to write home about. And as we come to midday today, you can see that there's a high centered initially over up towards Iceland. That's beginning to move down from the north towards mainland UK. We cycled that through to midnight tonight. You can see that centered over sort of the north of England and continuing through just to get a bit of an outlook. It's moving down quite slowly. But then by sort of Saturday night, Sunday morning, we should actually start to get some low pressure coming in, some frontal systems making their way over the UK. So hopefully shaking things up a little bit and making it a little bit more unstable. And with any luck, we can get some reasonable soaring weather. Looking at the SatPic for this morning, this was about 15 minutes ago. See a little bit of a low level clag hanging around here, which is actually filtered in. It started off about an hour ago, quite clear skies, whereas now we've got a little bit of low level stuff overhead the airfield. That's anticipated to clear, and I don't think any of this stuff over the sea or the water is going to become an issue for us. Nothing on the rain radar. It's going to be a problem, just a little bit of top cover. The only sort of cloud today. And we can cycle through the Met Office rain forecast. And you can see there is nothing that's going to affect us at all today. Moving on to the local TAF, starting with RF Odium. We're saying 030, so northeasterly wind at 5 knots, visibility 10 kilometers, broken at 400 feet, which is maybe a little bit pessimistic for what we're seeing at the moment. And that's becoming around about now a few 1500, and there's a prop 30 that will get scattered at 2000 in about an hour and a half's time. But after that, it should hopefully clear and leave us with a reasonably clear day. Farnborough, something similar, a little bit less rambling, 050 at 10, so slightly more easterly. Visibility greater than 10 kilometers, broken at 500 feet, becoming between 9 and 11 local cav. So that's agreeing with what the rest of the forecasters are suggesting. And once we get rid of this, when we get a bit more temperature in the air, hopefully all that cloud will move on. If we look at the spot winds to the south of us, again, northeasterly or east-northeasterly, about 20 knots at 1,000 feet, likewise at 2,000 feet. And you can see it consistently on the south coast, 20 knots all the way up to about 24,000 feet. We then have to the north of us, 050, so a little bit more northeasterly, 10 knots. So we can expect somewhere in between that. Windy, just agreeing with that general trend, a northeasterly flow. Windy actually showing a little bit more northerly to it. So we could have an element of that. Coming over the trees to the north here, so we can expect a fair bit of turbulence at times, particularly if we get any sort of mixing going on and get some gusts increasing. So that's one to watch out for today, a little bit of a wind gradient as you come down over the trees or air towing up past there. The local Met Office forecast paints much the same picture. They're not recognising any of this lower level cloud, but they often don't. But hopefully this is in agreement with what we see later on. Reasonably cool today, sort of maximum of 14 degrees. It'll feel a little bit cooler with the wind, so you probably want to keep your sort of jumpers on. But still a high UV up to 4 in the middle of the day, so it is worth popping some sun cream on covering up. Once again, a northeasterly wind, 10 gusting 20-ish, quite consistently throughout. It's relaxing a little bit into the evening, so the evening group should have a slightly more benign session. GFS for temperature, agreeing with that, about 13 degrees there, suggesting at 1 o'clock local, with a dew point of around 4. You can see this is the webcam on the south side looking north, so with the clubhouse being over here. We can see we've got this low level layer here hanging around. Should hopefully in the next hour and a half, 2 hours, that should be gone, if not before. I'll just refresh this. So yeah, the local temperature is now 4.9 with a dew point of 2. So once we start to get a little bit of separation in those lines, we'll get rid of this cloud. Looking at the SkySight point forecast for today, actually quite reasonable in terms of soaring potential, suggesting in the best part of the day around 3 knots up to 3,500 feet. And over to the left here, we've just got a small excerpt from the PFD. So there is something on the chart which is better than we've had for the last week or so. So the potential for a few intrepid pilots heading out maybe to the north or the northwest. Top meteor here showing us cloud distribution, and we've got this lower layer, sort of sub 2,000 foot cloud here, and this is starting at 9 o'clock local, so this is current as of now. And if we cycle that through to 10 o'clock, see it's starting to move away. By 11 o'clock, very, very little, maybe a couple of little bits hanging around our area. But by 12, it's long gone, and we should have clear skies as the Farmtaf was forecasting. Just the sort of usual suspects in terms of NOTAMs today. Number 17 here, that's Barton Stacey live firing. 18, we have Waverley, and that's flare firing. That won't be until the later part of the day, so it probably won't affect us, even if you are down in that region. 21 is Delta 132 Ash Ranges, and 22 is Camberley, where there's going to be some flares descending by parachute. That's also later in the afternoon. We'll now move on to the airfield brief. Medium cross section to begin with. They released an amendment a couple of hours ago, and they're recognising this scattered and broken sort of low-level stratus cloud around 500 feet. It's by now it's starting to become few from broken, and then as you said, by 11 it's mostly gone. There's a prop 30 that will get few scattered Q, and then possibly a little bit of stratocumulus later on in the day. Otherwise, fairly calm winds, 12 knots, 10 knots from the northeast. A lot of bookings for today. We have our 2 K21s for the course flying. There's 2 K21s booked for instruction. One of those is for instructor training, and there's a K13 on trial lessons. We have some single seat availability, primarily on the Discus fleet, and there's a K13 for the casual list and for club members. We have 7 on the casual list today, no instructors as of yet, so if we could get a couple of instructors out to help, that would be much appreciated, and you're welcome to take any spare 2-seat gliders that you can find to get through the list. Simulator is available as before, but the front trim remains unserviceable. Otherwise, it's in full working order. On movement today, we've got an Airbus arrival at 12:05 local today. So assuming that runs on time, we may use that as an opportunity to break for an early lunch. But we'll keep you updated with that out at the launch point as the information comes to me. So our general situation today, we've got high pressure over the UK, low level cloud that should be clearing mid-morning. Steady northeasterly winds, gusting upwards towards 20 knots at times, so please ensure someone's holding your canopy while getting in, especially with the K21 rear canopies. We'll keep reiterating that Generally, it's been done pretty well, but still seeing them waving about unattended every now and again. And we really don't want to have an aircraft go offline for weeks waiting for a canopy replacement. Quite high UV, so make sure you take the sufficient steps to protect yourself. And we'll be on runway 09 today, winching on the grass to the south, air towing from the north. Please make sure you're ready when the cable or tug arrives, and let's make it a nice, efficient operation. As usual, please don't land or taxi on the disused runways shown here in red. And if we can ensure that we're washing gliders at the end of the day. We're changing now from having to clean the mud off to having to clean the flies off. Okay, so let's make sure we're doing that. It's a lot easier, and it makes that much nicer for the people in the morning coming in and getting a nice clean glider. We'll finish off with the airfield setup. It's been like this for the last sort of 2 weeks almost. Potentially later in the week or into the start of next week, we might start to see a change going back round onto 27. We can only hope. But again, winching off the south, aerating from the north, and we've got our northeasterly flow. That's all I have for you this morning. So I will see you out there. Have a good day, keep it safe, and have fun.